How we doing? How we doing? This is Destination Denver, Colorado, and today I'm giving you 9 reasons to love living in Broomfield, Colorado, and we're starting right now. All right, this is Destination Denver, Colorado. I'm your host, Jimmy Everett, and listen, if you're interested in learning all the ins and outs, pros and cons to moving to or around Denver, Colorado, then this is a channel for you. So that subscribe button and notification icon you see on your screen, make sure you click on that as I'm dropping new videos for you each and every week. And as much as I pretend to be educational here on camera, I'm also a licensed mortgage broker covering the entire state of Colorado and team with some of Denver's most talented realtors. And we're helping people move here each and every day. So the number and email you see on your screen, know that I'm always the person answering those phone calls, answering those texts, answering those emails, when and if you need me. Now that we're done with that fun-filled stuff, let's get to what we're here for, and that is the 9 reasons to love living in Broomfield, Colorado. All right, so the first thing you're bound to love about Broomfield, Colorado is its location. Broomfield is located roughly 30 to 40 minutes northwest of Denver, straight up I-25 and over on Route 36, and about the same distance from Boulder, Colorado. So you are within, let's say, 40 to 45 minutes in traffic of 2 of the most popular places in all of Colorado, and certainly 2 of the more popular areas in the Denver metro area, getting to downtown and getting up to Boulder. You are also sneaky close to Denver International Airport if you do a lot of traveling or if you need to get to the airport for work. So you're about 40 to 45 minutes anywhere in Broomfield to get over to the airport. The second thing you're really going to like about Broomfield is the fact that it really caters to a variety of lifestyles. So niche.com, as an example, has it rated as the number 18 suburb in Colorado out of 72 suburbs. It's got it number 12 in Colorado for young professionals. And that gets even better. If you're a retiree, it's number 23 out of 150 cities. And if you're raising a family, it's number 20 out of 228 cities nationwide. And you'll see that as you get around Broomfield, it's got a very fun energy to it, and a lot of different areas. You know, you'll see the families out and about. You'll see singles doing their thing. So really catering to that variety of lifestyle, if you will. Now, I'm calling this video 9 things that you're going to love about Broomfield, Colorado, and this one might be something that you love or might be something that you don't. But number 3 is that the fact that Broomfield doesn't have a downtown area. It doesn't have this one dense location where everybody goes to. There are a couple areas in Broomfield that are kind of trying to fill that bill. You have Arista Uptown, which is right up Route 36, and then you've got Baseline. Let's start with Arista Uptown. Arista Uptown was kind of this first community where they started building a lot of townhomes, shops, coffee shops. It was supposed to be or is an area with a decent amount of walkability. And one of the key cornerstones of the Arista Uptown was the First Bank Center, which changed names, but we don't really have to worry about it anymore because they've closed the First Bank Center. So that was a recent change. The First Bank Center was closed in 2023 in the last several months. So that really changed, I think, the dynamic of the Arista Uptown and what to expect there. Now, Baseline, which is north of that, and basically North Broomfield, is still under construction. So it's one of the more popular up-and-coming neighborhoods in Broomfield, but it's not done yet. So if we want to talk about what that will be and whether it will be, you know, a downtown area, and use some finger quotes there, I don't know. I mean, I went up there, took a recent peek at it. I was up there just a couple weeks ago preparing for this video and seeing the progress they've made. And I mean, I see shopping, I see some restaurants, but I don't see downtown. I see just kind of one of those roads that you drive down and there's a bunch of shops on one side and there's a bunch of houses on the other. So to be determined whether Baseline will fill that role. And if that's something that you really need in a suburb, then, you know, Broomfield might not be it, but it has, I think, enough if you want to live in one of those 2 locations. The 4th thing you're going to love about Broomfield is the Omni Interlochen. So Denver is, you know, very popular for the Denver Tech Center, which is in Greenwood Village. It's roughly 30 minutes south of Denver. Well, Broomfield really looked at that model and has created their own. So again, along Route 36, kind of up the road from Arista Uptown, if you will, you have the Omni Interlochen Center. So within that, you have several businesses and many of them tech. So you've got Oracle, you've got Level 3, you've got Time Warner. Vail Resorts is in the Omni Interlaken. It's just one of those terms that you can't say multiple times fast. Omni Interlaken, Omni Interlaken. And Hunter Douglas, Ball is there, SCL Health. So you've got a ton of industries within the Omni Interlaken. And to boot, it's also got a very popular golf course. So you've got just a little bit of everything, a little work, a little leisure, a little play, all there. Coming up at number 5 are the school districts. Whether you need schools or don't need schools, schools are important, especially if you're thinking about buying a home, and Broomfield ranks very high in schools. So Broomfield is going to be split into 3 different sections for schools. You've got Boulder Valley, Adams 12, and Jefferson County. All 3 highly rated, and Broomfield just as a whole is highly rated for schools. So I don't want to say you can't go wrong, but I'm going to say odds are in your favor. You will find good schools in whatever area of Broomfield you are looking in. Now, number 6, and again, calling this video things you're going to love about Broomfield, to say that the cost of living is higher than Denver is probably not something you're going to love. But when we talk about what you can expect there, the reality being you may see higher property taxes in certain areas of Broomfield, cost of living being higher. But I also think that in Broomfield, some of the amenities and some of your living options there are going to be better. There's a lot of new development. There's a lot of thought process into how they are constructing Broomfield. And so while that price point may be higher, while that cost may be higher, I believe what you are getting out of it, you get a very solid return there. And while I said 30%, a little bug in my ear said that's 20%. We checked. Lifeline, that's correct, 20% higher. What do you expect? You want to live in a premium place, you tend to pay premium prices. And within that, playing off of that is number 7, and that is you have these really well-maintained, great neighborhoods known for safe neighborhoods, parks, places you can get outside, enjoy yourself, and some very, very cool neighborhoods to explore. Among the neighborhoods that I would suggest checking out, McKay's Landing is an outstanding place. The Broadlands are among the more popular, and then Anthem. Now, I recently shot some video. I mentioned getting up to Baseline. So Baseline and Anthem are right there. They're along the main strip of road. Anthem it has been around longer. It's still a newer community overall. A lot of new construction there. But those side by side. So Baseline's still a ton of construction. And when you get out there, you're going to see some of these neighborhoods. You just have a spectrum of different types of properties that you can buy, whether you're looking at condos, townhomes, detached homes. If you're renters looking at any of those things, including apartments, there's a lot of different neighborhoods that you can get to. Some of the coolest houses that I've seen are in Broomfield, many of them along golf courses that I can't afford. But I mean, you and I, we can cry to each other about that later, but definitely some neighborhoods to check out. One thing I would mention specifically about Baseline and Anthem is the fact that while there's so much construction going on there and so much of that development, as I mentioned earlier in the video, there's a lot to be determined because, as you can see in some drone footage, there's still just a ton of space left to be filled. And I don't think that they are going to fill all of it. Broomfield takes its open space, I'm going to mention here in a minute, very seriously. But all of that planning is still going on. They still have this land to kind of work out. So what that will look like in the next year, 2 years, 3 years is going to be very interesting. And as I alluded to, reason number 8, trying to get my fingers to work for me today, is open space and how serious Broomfield takes it. Well, they have 8,000 acres of open space in Broomfield. You have the Broomfield Open Commons Park. You have the Broomfield Commons Open Space, just this massive park. You also have the Paul Durda Recreational Facility, which is, again, talk about massive, just this huge place where you have your workout centers, you have your swimming pool, you have areas for kids, you've got racquetball, you've got everything. The center is massive. Every time I try to describe it, I fail miserably. It's because it's like trying to describe Disneyland. There's just too much stuff going on. And also very cool for Broomfield is the US 36 bikeway, or Route 36 bikeway. So this is a bike path along Route 36 that takes you all the way from Broomfield, south of Broomfield, all the way up into Boulder. And it runs right along 36. So one of the coolest visuals you'll get, at least in my humble opinion, in Colorado is coming over this ridge on Route 36 and seeing Boulder down in its valley and how Boulder protects this green space around it. So that bike trail, fantastic for that. It's a great ride. You know, if you're into riding, I definitely advise it. And then you get that great visual as you pull into Boulder. I wish I could tell you Broomfield was as pretty as Boulder, but I mean, it's just not, because Boulder is Boulder. I don't live in Boulder, so I'm not even saying that judgmentally. It just is what it is. You're like, just stick to the facts, Jimmy, okay? And the number 9 thing that, again, I'm gonna say you're gonna love is that, you know, Broomfield is this expanding, fast growing community. So, you know, if you're into seeing new things coming, if you're into a place that is thriving, not kind of settling, Broomfield is going to be your place. I mentioned earlier, Broomfield is the second most dense populated area in the Denver metro area. Now, I think that can be a little misleading because there are certain areas of Broomfield that are dense, but you know, most suburbs of Denver are pretty spread out. Broomfield has these segments that are, you know, kind of together and filled with townhomes and apartments, things of that nature. But overall, you've got a lot of development there. You've got a lot of people coming into Broomfield thinking about things that they want to build, ways that they want it to grow. So if that is something that you are interested in, if you're into a place that is thriving and looking to grow, it's going to be your spot. Now, if you're looking for like small town feel and kind of a laid back, you know, vibe, I use the term vibe a lot, Broomfield may not be the fit in that way. However, as I mentioned early on, Broomfield really caters. So, you know, if you want the hustle and bustle and something growing, Broomfield's got it. If you want some laid back neighborhoods, you're going to find it in Broomfield as well. It's got a little bit of everything for you. Now, I can't cover 9 things that you might love, and I know some of you are looking at this right now going, dude, I don't even like some of those, but I also need to mention some things that you will probably not love or probably not like. Of our cons, one is walkability. Broomfield is not a very walkable community. There's not very many areas that you will go to where you just walk around all day. It's not really something that Broomfield has. Second, Broomfield does have the Flatirons Mall, and Flatirons Mall is under some level of construction at all times, and at one time was kind of like the spot that you needed to go. But when it comes to shopping, at least from the people I've talked to that live there, Broomfield really isn't. They're not staying there to shop. They're either getting up to Boulder or they're actually heading over to Westminster or Thornton. Both of those towns have these pretty well-established shopping areas to go to. So if you're a big shopper, Broomfield might be lacking for you there. Broomfield is also covered by a lot of HOAs. We talk about the growth, we talk about some of these communities, some of these great neighborhoods. Well, a lot of them are going to be controlled by HOA. So you need to be aware of how much those HOAs cost, certainly, and you need to be aware of how much control they have. Some HOAs are more overreaching than others, but Broomfield, by and large, is covered by plenty of HOAs, something you need to be on top of. And last, but certainly not least, there's no Broomfield light rail. There's no light rail system coming from Denver that gets up to Broomfield as of yet. So again, if that is going to be a make or break for you, if light rail is something that you really want to rely on, Broomfield is probably going to be checked off your list. But hey, overall, you gotta have the good and the bad. In my humble opinion, Broomfield's good way outweighs its bad, but let's find out for yourself. And if you have any questions on it, that's a perfect opportunity for you to call, text, or email me. The number and email you see on the screen. Know that I am always the person answering those when and if you need me. This is Destination Denver, Colorado. I'm your host, Jimmy Everett. This has been 9 reasons you're going to love Broomfield, Colorado. Till I see you next time. Peace.